Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And we are switching things up a little bit this week because we got some cool stuff that we're going to be playing here in just a minute or so. And I wanted to introduce everybody and get everybody going as we are waiting for those who are stragglers that come in here. Thank you to everybody who is a part of this reading. If you've never been a part of this Yahuwah and the Torah reading, we're the family that simply believes that all of Scriptures, from the front of the book all the way to the very end of the book, that is what we believe. We don't take anything out. We don't add anything to it. And we believe that it is the first 5 books that give us a moral compass for our lives. And we believe that when our Messiah says, "Depart from me, you who are lawless," we have understood that as that the people who are lawless are the people that have nailed the laws, the statutes, and commandments to the stake, to the cross, to the tree, and that is not appropriate. If you want to inherit the kingdom of the Most High, then we are told that we need to keep these laws for all times and for all generations. All right, everybody, we are going to get into a little bit of praise and worship. We got some brand new songs for all of you guys, so let's get it on.
Your promise of peace
Adonai shall enter in through the gate so high. Only the one who does the will of my Father in the Shamayim still. Oh Yahweh, teach me your way. Let me walk in truth today. Not by words, but by your hand. Doing your desire as you command. Many will say on that day, Adonai, Adonai, in your name we pray. We cast out demons, mighty deeds we've done. In your name we thought we'd won. Oh Yahweh, teach me your way. Let me walk in truth today. Not by words, but by your hand. Doing your desire as you command. But you shall say, I never knew you. Depart from me, all who do what's untrue. My heart trembles, my soul shall cry, to walk in Torah till I die. Oh Yahweh, write your law inside. Let your ruler always guide. Not by saying Adonai in vain, but by doing truth in your name. Let my life be your living song, doing the desire that's been all along. In the reign of Shamayim, I long to be obedient forever unto thee.
All right, last song. Let's crank this one up just a little bit.
When the storm surrounds my soul and the shadows take their toll, you are near, my rock, my shield, my song. When the enemies draw near, I will never bow to fear. For you, Yahuwah, fight for me all alone. Yahuwah fights for me. His right hand lifts me high. He splits the sea before my feet and leads me
right, beautiful family. That is a little bit of praise and worship. We thought we would start rolling out here because I thought it was something a little bit different. And these are songs that have never, ever been played. You guys were the very first people that have ever heard these outside of the people here in this house where we produce these and put them out to you. So it is some praise and worship for all of you guys out there, and we will actually put these on a download so that everybody can download those and get some lyrics to them so that we can all start singing to these and try to get some these put to videos a little bit so that we can sing along with them and give all honor, all glory to our mighty creator who is worthy to be praised. He is worthy in all of this. Ms. Nicole, would you please greet our brothers and sisters that are here, please?
All right, so we have Chris, Sue, Mr. J905, Razul, Candy and Ruby, Sarah and William, Gina, Danny Boy, Yehoshua in Hebrew means salvation, Learning the Way, Brandy and family, Nathaniel, I don't know if I said that right, probably not, but welcome to you. Amaya, Sister Barb and family, Robert, welcome to you. Joanna, Daniel, also a new name, welcome to you. Jeannie Not of This World. And I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize.
All right. Well, beautiful family, we love you truly. This is the highlight of our Shabbat. Besides the day of rest, it is absolutely a beautiful thing to gather amongst people that love our Creator. And you have endless amounts of religions out there. And again, I got to speak with my dear old mom. And yesterday she told me I needed to go look up a single verse. And I knew where she was going with this. It was the verse where all food has been made clean. And I said, Mom, I am not going to start on verse 7 or 8. I am going to go to the very top of the chapter. And when you read that exact chapter, the entire premise of that chapter is about a group of Pharisees and Sadducees and people that believed you must wash your hands, wash your dishes, wash your couch before you ever go and eat. And they were all dismayed at our Messiah because he didn't wash his hands before eating, or at least they didn't observe him washing his hands. And what he says, it's not what goes in the mouth that pollutes you, but what comes out of the heart. And this is the Christian religion that is constantly lying to people, where they tell people that all these lies. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to go over the laws, statutes, and commandments that are found in the scriptures themselves. Cade, will you please open us in prayer?
Dear Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your Shabbat. We thank you for the family you've brought back to us this week, that we were able to celebrate this Shabbat, the glorious day that you have selected out of all days of the week. We're able to celebrate this with them. We ask that your will is done today, your Ruach is upon the people as we go dive into your Torah, we dive into your Son's life, we dive into seeking your commands, that you put the Ruach on us to open our eyes, to see the truth and how you want us to live, and how you want us to obey the commands, and how you want us to live your ways. We thank you for all. We thank you for this day. In His name, amen.
All right, Yisrael, all of you guys out there, I hope you guys consider yourselves Yisrael. Let's hear the Shema, Jade.
Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them as a sign in your hand, and they shall be furnished between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
So there we are, my friends and family. And thank you very much to Yahushua in Hebrew, means salvation. She says, thanks, Jason, you're the best. He? Oh, I can't get the names right, guys. Sorry, my brother. But Yahuwah is the best, right? Yahuwah is the one who has, I was thinking about that today in our prayer that we had this morning when we were opening up. I thanked our Creator for giving us minds, for giving us brains, for giving us another day that we can breathe the air that He has provided for us. Everything is because of Yah. Everything is because He has given it to us. And when we read through these laws, these statutes and commandments, there is no better breath of fresh air that you could ever have than learning the Torah, walking in the Torah, immersing yourself in the laws of our Creator. And you can tell when these religious systems, these satanic, cultish, nasty systems out there tell you the laws are dead. And they will tell you that with a straight face. They will tell you this way to salvation where you can eat unclean food, you can live like a straight up Gentile, and you're going to be saved. Well, that's not what Scripture says. In fact, all of Scripture, from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, there's a group of people, and they had a lot of struggles. They had a lot of problems with idolatry. They had a lot of problems with keeping this Torah. And every time our Creator sent them off to captivity, every time He disowned them, every time He divorced them. And now here we are at the end of times, at the end of the age, when technology is just crazy, when the world is completely crazy, devils and demons are running amok in the open flesh. And so here we are, that we can be a set apart people. We can be a covenant people. And to be a covenant people, we have something we need to do. We have to obey these laws, these statutes and commandments that are set before us today. The same laws, statutes, and commandments that Moshe told all the people way back in the day that if they would abide by, our Creator will abide by us. And so let's get into these. If you guys have any questions in the comments, let's get into these. But these are beautiful commands. We go over them every Shabbat because I think it's a special thing. It is something that when we go over them and write them on our hearts, on our minds, on our souls, we are a set apart people. We are different than the rest of this forsaken world that's out there. Commandment number 1 is to be fruitful.
Commandment number 2, multiply.
Replenish the earth. Subdue it. Have dominion over the earth, over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
The herb bearing and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin. Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Let's look real quick at walk before me and be perfect, right? The commandment right before this. When you look at this commandment and when you hold this up as a scale to what religious systems have told us, let's pick on anyone in the Christian religion, right? Let's pick on any of the rules and regulations in the Christian religion. Well, you don't have a lot, right? You just have to call on the name of Jesus and you're saved, right? That's the only rule and regulation they have. And they say it's all by mercy, it is all by grace, and they say there's nothing else to do. Well, if we have a commandment right here that's reiterated 4 different times to say, walk before me and be perfect, how are we being perfect when we're eating pig, when we're eating shellfish, clams, horses, whatever it is, right? All of these unclean foods that are an abomination to the temples of the Most High. You see that our bodies are the temples of the Most High. When our Messiah ripped the veil between the Holy of Holies, that gave us an opportunity to be that temple. Now, we need to be a different kind of people, right? If we're ingesting drugs, if we're ingesting all of these things of this world, if we're letting these guys in the big pharma world rule our worlds and our temples are getting corrupted and we're dying off earlier and earlier, that's not what this means. All of this, walk before me and be perfect, means that we need to learn these laws, these statutes and commandments, and walk in them. And it is a beautiful thing. For those of you who are out there that have kept Torah now for however long you're doing it, I've never run into a group of people that said, you know what, I was walking this Torah life and all of a sudden it became a problem. In fact, it's completely opposite. Because you have these liars and deceivers and these people that are satanic that say, oh, the Torah is bondage. Oh, you wouldn't want to go back under this Torah. The first question is, why not? Why would you not want to do things like not drink the blood? Why would you not want to do things like take care of your neighbor and have good finances and have good weighing systems so you're not ripping people off? Everything in this Torah is absolutely perfect. And for us to walk before our Creator and be perfect, it's not something that you learn overnight. It's not something that you can even probably get in a lifetime, because every single one of us fall. Every single one of us are sinners. Every single one of us have corrupt thoughts and things that our Messiah is definitely going to probably not be happy that we have said. But every idle thing that we have said, every evil that we have done is going to be replayed back to us on the day of judgment, and we want to make sure that we are as perfect in the eyes of our Creator as we can be. And again, that doesn't mean we're sinless. It means that we are working every single day to attempt to perfect the Torah walk, and it is a hard walk. You have something? What you got?
Chris says some nations eat dogs and cats. Would those also be unclean?
Yeah,
I'm guessing
absolutely.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Leviticus 11 very clearly tells us what's to eat and what's not to eat. Yeah, there's a lot of people. You know, there are a lot of people eat dogs and cats, and it's very unfortunate. You know, we are we are dog lovers here. You know, they are our furry friends and family, and it's just something that even if we were starving to death, we're not going to eat our animals. We'll just starve to death. And so yeah, those are unclean. Leviticus 11 gives us all of that. Next commandment: guard Yahuwah's covenant laws, statutes, and commandments, reiterated more times than any other commandment in scriptures.
Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations. Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the festival of unleavened bread, festival of matzah.
And Joanna's exactly right. She says that most people probably say that because they don't want to give up something. Say exactly right. My dear mother is the same way, right? She can't give up her pork. She never will. And you know, when she told me to read, verse 7 or whatever it is, I went to verse 1. I started reading verse 1 through 4. She gets to the point. She goes, I don't want to talk about this anymore. We have too much to talk about. We're not going to agree on this. And I'm like, okay, Mom. Well, and that's the problem with religious systems, right? They spot pick verses. They will go to Paul, and Paul will go, well, the law is dead. The law is gone. You don't need to keep the law. And they're like, well, our God Paul says this, and you're like, well, Paul's not a god, he's just a man. And in fact, that was a letter. That's not even in scriptures. That's not even a scroll. That wasn't even to the people, right? He wasn't a prophet. He wasn't anything of the sort. He was a guy that was responding to some problems that these different villages and different little ecclesias were having. And you are now taking it as doctrine, trumping the word of our Creator to your own demise. And it's a terrible thing. Continue on, gentlemen.
There is one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah. There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name. Do not keep the Shabbat, the Sabbath day. Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock. Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor.
Slow down there, Speedy Gonzalez's. Do not make an altar from rock that a tool has touched.
Do not go up the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals. Do not lie with beasts.
But no sacrifices to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow. Do not charge your brother interest.
If you buy your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people. Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow a multitude of evil. Do not judge righteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy. Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger. Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah. Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim. Serve Yahuwah.
Make new covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make use of oil on no person. Do not make use of perfume on no person. Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you are going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's. Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws. Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife. Do not lie with the woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Let's look at these 2 commands, right? Do not harm the disabled. Do not endanger your neighbor, right? Oh, let's look at the 3rd one. Do not hate your brother. So, you have the religious system, and they say that, we have 10 commandments. And that's the only commandments that they have. They will say that they have our Messiah's commands, and it wasn't really even our Messiah's commands, because the question to our Messiah was, which are the greatest of the commandments? And he said to love your Elohim with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your being, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Now, he was simply reiterating Torah. This was the same thing, right? We have in Deuteronomy 6 that we need to love our Creator with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul. So our Messiah was simply parroting the same thing. Now, let's take do not harm the disabled, do not endanger your neighbor, and do not hate your brother, and let's nail them to the tree. Let's take this blasphemous thing, and let's take these things out. And what kind of people can we become? So we want to harm the disabled? Is that the kind of people we want to be? Do we want to chop a tree down and not give a darn about our neighbor, and we like crush him and his whole family with a giant tree? What about hating our brother? What about knowing where our Messiah says, when we go to bed with hating our brother, it's the same as murder. How do we account for things like this when they're all in Torah, right? That is the dangers of taking the Torah and making it not. That's taking the beautiful words of our Creator and saying, oh, we don't want them to apply to us. It's dangerous. You become a dangerous person. You become an evil person when you do not have Torah in your lives. Continuing on, rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not divert your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed. Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman. Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead. Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple. Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures. Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, and recount Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Teruah. Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shemini Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another. Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yovel, Jubilee year.
Confess your sin to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against. The law of being a Nazir.
Wear zizi on the four corners of your garments.
The Torah of whoever touches a corpse. Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
Torah of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word. Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart. Bind the laws upon your hand and the filaments between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah. Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images. Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes. Do not hearken to the words of false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing. You shall give a stranger of clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe your increase of seed year by year.
The laws at the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates. Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen. Prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
Do not deal with the false witness among Torah keepers. The first child is to get double portion.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman. If you find a bird's nest with the mother, and the babies or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute. Do not use dirty money.
Torah of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge. If you lend your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that's poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field, leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out the grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you should take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother. At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles.
All right, so let us get into our Torah reading that we are on. We are cruising through the Torah. We are on the very last book, which is Devarim, Deuteronomy, and we are into chapter 5. Now, can somebody give me a good breakdown of what we have done to this point and who can do that for me? Anyone? Jaden, please.
So we are in the days of basically Moshe is recapping the entire journey out. So the people that he's talking to are the next generation. They're the people that's going to go into the land. The people of the old generation are all dying off. They've been wandering for 40 years. They got cursed for 40 years for complaining, crying about how good it was in Egypt, how they should just stay there and they should have never left. They were good with captivity. They complain and cry for meat. They cry for bread. Yahuwah gives it to them, and they still complain. They go and astray and start worshiping other gods, and then who has to put plagues upon them to return them, and they keep doing bad things. You see Korah and a whole bunch of people rose up, and the earth consumed them. They tried to take over Moshe's spot. Moshe was appointed by Yahuwah. He was basically their king of the time. He was their leader, and they tried to rise up against the appointed of Yahuwah, and they got cursed. And then there's people, they rebel against Yahuwah. He sends fire down. He sends snakes to bite them, and they just don't learn their lesson over and over and over. So we're towards the end of those people there, the last few of that generation, and Yahuwah said that generation would not make it in since they were complaining. And so Moshe is going through all the things that has happened over the 40 years they've been wandering in the desert. And Moshe tells them they were bad people, they complained, they went through all these wars, they made it through that, they have conquered some land for some of the tribes, and he also talks about the time he gets kicked out, he loses his spot in the land. He can look at the top of the mountain, look into it, but he can never enter into it. He disobeyed Yahuwah. He did not obey him completely. Only one time, as good as Moshe was, the one disobedience had consequences. So since he didn't talk to a rock where water was there, he hit the rock, he was banned from going into the promised land. So he tells the people because of them, he is kicked out.
Yep.
So here we are. He's recapping, and he's also telling them about the law they should follow, or they will be cursed.
Yeah, and these same words that we hear in all of the Torah are relevant to all of us today. Just because this is part of what they have classified as the Old Testament, it is not. There's no such old to it. These are as current and as new as they were when they were written down by the hand of Moshe. It's all the same thing, right? When you look at the Old Covenant, which was, if you will obey my commandments and keep my ways, I will be your Elohim. And you look at the renewed covenant, right? The new covenant, the Hebrews 8 covenant, where it's for two different houses, right? It's the house of Yisrael and the house of Yehuda. There is no house of Christian. There's no house of Mormon, Catholic, blah, blah, blah. It's all two different houses. So the question is, how do we join into either of these two houses? How do we let this covenant be effective and applied to us in today's world? Well, it's simple enough, right? We do what the covenant says to do, which is to be obedient in the laws, the statutes and commands to our Creator, and be loyal. We need to be loyal to our beautiful, loyal Creator and his beautiful Son, who was loyal to us in all things. And so here we are, Devarim, chapter 5. And Moshe called all Yisrael and said to them, "Hear, O Yisrael, the laws and right rulings which I speak in your hearing today, and you shall learn them and guard to do them." As I said, this was as current back then as it is today. None of this has been nailed to a tree or tossed in the ditch. None of it. Same thing, right? So all of us, Moshe is telling you guys this today. O Yisrael, people on this ecclesia, people on this stream from here until the end of time, whenever this channel is gone or whenever the powers that be are able to take this out, this is what it is, right? You shall learn them. And what are we learning? The laws, the statutes, the commands, and guard to do them. Yahuwah, our Elohim, made a covenant with us in Korev. Yahuwah did not make the covenant with our fathers, but with us, those who are here today, all of us who are alive. Yahuwah spoke with you face to face on the mountain from the midst of the fire. I stood between Yahuwah and you at that time to declare to you the word of Yahuwah, for you were afraid because of the fire, and you did not go up the mountain, saying, I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of which is in the Shamayim above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters underneath the earth. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the wickedness of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing kindness to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yahuwah your Elohim to naught, for Yahuwah does not leave him unpunished who brings his name to naught. Guard the Shabbat day, to kadosh it, make it holy, as Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you. 6 days you labor, and shall do all your work, but the seventh day is the Shabbat of Yahuwah your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor any of your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates, so that your male servant and your female servant rest as you do. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, and that Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out from there by a strong hand and by an outstretched arm. Therefore, Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you to perform the Shabbat day. Beautiful commands, right? This is a reiteration of everything that we have been told over and over and over. And so we have this, but yet we have an entire 400,000 different religious systems, 40,000 different religious systems of Christianity. Nobody keeps the Shabbat day, right? Even the Seventh-day Adventists only keep like one command out of all the rest of them, right? They may have gotten something right with the Shabbat day, but as far as driving 50 miles to get from point A to point B, you're kindling fire, you're moving around, you're doing a whole bunch of other stuff. It's a day of rest. A lot of people have often said that they will go out on a Shabbat and they go travel a long ways to get to their little ecclesia, and they sit there and they have their day, and by the time they make it home, they are so beat. They can't even move around. They're so tired. But yet, for those of us who observe the Shabbat day and we basically stick around our domains. If you back in the day, the ecclesias were the next guy's tent, right? You would walk out of one of your tents, you would walk a couple of tents down, and you would get together with a little ecclesia. It wasn't where we had to go for long trips and long periods of time just to get to this. It's a day of rest. 16, respect your father and your mother, as Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you, so that your days are prolonged, and so that it is well with you on the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder. You do not commit adultery. You do not steal. You do not bear false witness against your neighbor. You do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor do you desire your neighbor's house, his field, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. These words Yahuwah spoke to all your assembly in the mountain from the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the dense cloud, with a loud voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone and gave them to me. And it came to be, when you heard the voice from the midst of the darkness, the mountain was burning with fire, that you came near to me, all the heads of your tribe, and your elders, and said, see, Yahuwah Elohim has shown us his esteem and his greatness, and we have heard his voice from the midst of the fire. Today we have seen that Elohim speaks with man, and he lives. And now why should we die? For this great fire is consuming us. If we hear the voice of Yahuwah our Elohim anymore, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh who has heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking from the midst of the fire as we have, and lived? You go near and hear all that Yahuwah our Elohim says, and speak to us all that Yahuwah our Elohim says to you, and we shall hear and do it. And Yahuwah heard the voice of words when you spoke to me, and Yahuwah said to me, I have heard the voice of your words of this people, which they have spoken to you. They have done well in all they have spoken. Oh, that they had such a heart in them to revere me and to guard all my commands always, so that it might be well with them and with your children until Messiah comes? Nope. Till you're with your children forever. This is why there is no expiration date on the Torah. There's no box of milk that has become rotten and curdled that you throw away and go, wow, this is over, right? This is what the Torah is. It is for all generations. It is all people. It is forever. Go to them. Go, say to them, return to your tents, but you stand here by me, and let me speak to you all the commands and the laws and the right rulings which you are to teach them, and they shall do them in the land which I am giving them to possess. Now you'll have a lot of people, and you'll go, well, we can't keep the commands because we're not in Israel, we're not in the lands. Yes, and if you never keep the commands now, you're never going to make it to Yisrael. You're not going to make it to the New Jerusalem. They're not taking in stragglers that are people that are knowingly and ignorantly disobeying the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? This is a testing ground. These lands where we are at is a testing ground for all time. If you want to be a part of the kingdom to come, then you need to be keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments as of today. That's what we are here for all generations, forever. Your children, you guys are the children of these people back in the day. This same command went with them, that it may be well with them and with their children forever. 32. And you shall guard to do as Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in all the way which Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you, so that you live and it be well with you, and you shall prolong your days in the land which you possess. All right, guys, so there we are. This is the book of Deuteronomy, just a beautiful book. It's just absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it is absolutely good. So let us get into this. This is Luke right here. Jade, will you please give me a recap of this?
Yep, Messiah is gone around, he's taught, he's created some enemies, very powerful enemies in his time, which were the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They ruled the place. Everyone saw these guys as the most powerful people under Rome. And Messiah went against their teachings, their traditions. He taught the Torah, he taught the right way, and he was trying to bring his people back. He came to the lost sheep. And so here Yehoshua is, towards the end, the people have come, they have arrested him. Judas has betrayed him, one of his 12, one of the people he loved, and basically taught he was one of the people that was supposed to go out in the world and teach, but Judas has purpose, which was to hand over the Messiah to the powerful people. And now Judas has given him over. Yehoshua has been captured and questioned. He is now in talking with the Romans.
Yeah. Yeah, just reading through chat here just to make sure. All right. Yeah, obedience and praise. Sister Barb hits it right. That is our purpose here. Yeah, all else is up to Yahuwah. Absolutely. And that's, why would we not want to give praise to the creator of the universe? I mean, who can make a daisy? Who can make a lily? Who can make a bird? We were looking out our door today, and, for those who don't know, we're in the middle of a tropical rainforest. And so you get brand new birds here all the time, stuff you have never ever seen before. And there's these little birds with bright yellow chests, and they got a little blue on them, and they're all fat. They're all puffed up, right? These things are extremely well fed. And when you look at the cycle of nature that is out here, where, you have a big fat bird that is sitting out there, and he's obviously, he's not sitting with a sign that says, please feed me. Our creator always feeds the birds of the Shamayim. He always feeds his nature and makes his things work, which is why we are in absolutely really good hands, and which is why we absolutely need to trust and obey our creator and trust his ways. He didn't bring us here to let us, be found into the hands of the dark ones, right? We've been here, and I will tell you without a shadow of a doubt that when you are in covenant with our creator, there's a spiritual protection. There's a veil that comes down upon all the people. And it's something that absolutely is astounding when you see the supernatural power of our creator as he protects his people. And a lot of people don't understand that, right? You see the Christians, and most of the Christians I see are fairly well-to-do, right? The big houses, lots of cars, you're like, wow, these guys must be blessed. But at the same time, Hasatan is the master of these lands. He is able to bless people. He's able to take these rock stars, these people that sell their souls and create demonic music, satanic music, and lead all the people astray, right? He's made them all filthy rich, right? Do you think that's the hand of our creator or the hand of Hasatan? It's the hand of Hasatan. He can do that to his Christian people, right? And when people are complacent, when they're content, when they aren't seeking our creator, then they will have the blessings of Hasatan that leads them right where they are. And for those who are in the Christian religion, Hasatan already has people's heart, mind, and souls. And it's very rare that people will actually break away from these religious systems that they've been brainwashed in with the programming, because they refuse to read the scriptures. And even if they do read the scriptures, their hearts are shut, their eyes are shut, their ears, they can't hear anything. And it's a wild thing. Not everybody is going to make the kingdom. In fact, very, very clearly in scriptures, it says most people don't make the kingdom. And so when you look at the reasons why, it becomes very, very obvious that there's a lot of disobedient people, and they don't care about the laws of our creator, which is why the remnant is the people that we need to defend. We need to guard the laws, the statutes, and commandments from these pagans that just want this stuff in the trash. Here we are, guys. Lucas 23. And the entire assembly of them, having risen up, led him to Pilatus. This is our Messiah, right? These are some pretty grim parts of scriptures. I always dread into this part of scriptures because I just don't like what's happening to our Messiah. But it is part of history, and it is something that all of us need to understand and show value to our Messiah for not calling down legions of angels to burn these guys, just to crush these people, which is what most of us would have probably done. They led him to Pilatus and began to accuse him, saying, "We found this one corrupting the nation and forbidding to pay taxes to Kaiser, saying he himself is Messiah, a sovereign." Now, guys, did our Messiah ever say not to pay taxes to Kaiser?
No, in fact, to pay Kaiser what is Kaiser's.
Yep, and I mean, how did that incident go down?
Well, they tried tricking him. They gave him a coin with an inscription of Caesar, Kaiser, and he says, "Whose inscription is this?" And they say, "Kaiser." He goes, "Then give to Kaiser what is Kaiser's, and give to Yahuwah what is Yahuwah's."
Yep, absolutely. So these people are liars. They're just filthy liars. And Pilatus asked him, saying, "You are the sovereign of the Yahudim?" And answering him, he said, "You say it." And Pilatus said to the chief Kohanim in the crowd, "I find no guilt in this man." But they were insisting, saying, "He stirs up the people, teaching through all Yahudah, beginning from Galilee unto this place." Unless you understand about the religious system back in the day, this is like a group of people that are the politicians of the temple, right? And these people have not just the laws, statutes, and commandments that you find in the first 5 books of scriptures, but they have a gazillion other books. In fact, coming out of Babylonian captivity, they ended up with the Oral Torah. The Oral Torah is a group of teachings, and when you look at the Oral Torah, it's pretty foul. It's things where you can have sex with little children. It is things where you can label a person a goyim, and these goyim are lesser than dogs, right? If you have been labeled a goyim, which means you're not in the religion system of Judaism, they can rob you, pillage you, and do all sorts of terrible things to you. And when you look at that commandment alone, and you look at loving your neighbor as yourself, right, which is the greatest of the two commandments, the greatest of all commandments. The second one is to love your neighbor as yourself. When you label somebody a goyim and you hate them, how are they ever going to find the kingdom? Why would they ever want to join the kingdom with people that hate their guts, right? How are you ever going to show the love of our Messiah and the love of our Creator when you do things like this? So these little religious zealots back in the time were foul. They were evil. And what they're doing right now is they are protecting themselves because the teachings of our Messiah was crushing them. He was an attorney of all attorneys, and these guys had no answers for the stuff that Messiah said. 5. But they were insisting, saying, "He stirs up the people, teaching through all Yahudah, beginning from Galilee unto this place." And when Pilatus heard of Galilee, he asked if the man was a Galilean. And when he learned that he was under the authority of Herodes, he sent him to Herodes, who was also in those days. Now, Herodes was not a Roman. He was a leader of he was part of the Judaism, but he was a leader of this group. And so what Pilatus just did was he passed the buck, as they say, right? He didn't want to deal with this. He found no fault in this guy. And, we know from other scriptures that Pilatus's wife was having terrible dreams about what was going to happen. And she was probably saying, "Don't judge this guy. Whatever you do, Pilatus, do not judge this guy." 8. And seeing Yahushua, Herodes rejoiced greatly. For a time he had waited to see him, or wanted to see him, because he had heard much about him and was anticipating to see some miracle done by him, and was questioning him with many words, but he gave him no answer. And the chief Kohanim and the scribes stood accusing him intensely. And Herodes with his soldiers made light of him and mocked him, dressing him in a bright robe, and sent him back to Pilatus. And on that day Pilatus and Herodes became friends with each other, for before that they had been at enmity with each other. And Pilatus, having called together the chief Kohanim and the rulers of the people, said to them, "You brought this man as one who turns away the people, and look, I have examined him in your presence and found guilt in this man regarding the charges which you make against him. And neither did Herodes, for I sent you back to him, and look, he has done not deserving death. Having disciplined him, then I shall release, for he had to release one to them at the festival." And they cried out all together, saying, "Away with this one, and release to us Barabbas, who had been thrown into prison for a certain uprising made in the city and for murder. Wishing to release Yahushua, then Pilatus appealed to them again, but they were calling out, saying, impale him. And he said to them the third time, why, what evil has he done? I have found no reason for death in him. Having disciplined him then, I shall release. But with loud voices they insisted, asking for him to be impaled. And the voices of these men and of the chief Kohanim were prevailing. And Pilatus pronounced sentence that what they asked should be done. And part of the problem was the Roman soldiers, there weren't a tremendous amount of Roman soldiers right here. If the Yahudim, the Jews of this day, would have done an uprising at this point, these guys probably would have all got beat up as well, killed more than likely, when there was an uprising in the city. And so to appease the voices of the many, these guys did things that they even said were not right, and that Messiah Yahushua had no need for death. There was nothing he did. 24 and 5. And Pilatus pronounced sentence that what they asked, the one they asked for, who for uprising and murder had been thrown into prison, handed Yahushua over to their wants. And as they led him away, they laid hold of a certain man, Shimon a Kyrion, who was coming from the field, and they put the stake on him to bear it behind Yahushua. And a great number of people were following him, and women who also were mourning and lamenting him. But Yahushua, turning to them, said, daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For look, the days are coming in which they shall say, Baruch, blessed are the barren, and wombs that never bore, and the breasts which never nursed. Then they shall begin to say to this mountains, fall on us, and to the hills, cover us. Because if they do this to the green tree, what is going to be done to the dry? And two others also, evildoers, were led to him to be put to death, led with him to be put to death. And when they had come to the place called Golgotha, they impaled him there, and the evildoers, one on the right and the other on the left. And Yahushua said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. And they divided his garments and cast lots. And the people were standing, looking on, and the rulers also were sneering at them, saying, he saved others. Let him save himself, if he is Hamashiach, the chosen of Elohim. And the soldiers were mocking him too, coming, offering him vinegar, and saying, if you are the sovereign of the Yahudim, save yourself. There was also an inscription written over him in the letters of Yahwanite and Roman and Hebrew. This is the sovereign of the Yahudim. And one of the evildoers who were hanged was speaking evil of him, saying, if you are Hamashiach, save yourself and us. But the other responding rebuked him, saying, do you not even fear Elohim, since you are under the same judgment? And we, indeed, rightly so, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this one has done no wrong. And he said to Yahushua, Adonai, remember me when you come into your reign. And Yahushua said to him, truly I say to you today, you shall be with me in paradise. And it was now about the 6th hour, and darkness came over all the land until the 9th hour. And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the Mishkan was torn in two. And crying out with a loud voice, Yahushua said, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And having said this, he breathes his last. Now these are all simplified verses that break the Trinity completely, right? Why would our Messiah be calling out to his Father and saying, I am committing my spirit, if he was the Father, right? You can't have this both ways. The Trinity is a hoax. It is a lie. It is something that the Catholic Church in the hands of Hasatan have put together, and so many people have fallen for it. So many people can't see 2 and 2 when it is very clearly 4. That our Messiah is a single individual. His Father is a single individual. They are separate, right? And that is why when we make the Father the Son and the Son the Father, it takes the deity away, and we know that our Elohim Most High, Yahuwah, is a jealous El, right? He doesn't share his deity with anyone. 47. And the captain, seeing what took place, praised Elohim, saying, truly this man was righteous. And when all the crowds who had gathered to that sight saw what took place, they beat their breasts and went away. And all those who knew him and the women who followed him from Galilee stood at a distance watching this. And see a man named Joseph, a council member, a good and righteous man. He was not agreeing with their deed. From Ramathian, a city of Yahudim, who himself was wailing for the rain for the reign of Elohim. He, going to Pilatus, asked for the body of Yahushua. And making it down, he wrapped it in linen and laid it in a tomb hewn out of the rock where no one was yet laid. And it was preparation day, and the Shabbat was approaching. And the women who had come with him from Galilee followed after, and saw the tomb and how his body was laid. And having returned, they prepared spices and perfumes, and they rested on the Shabbat according to the command. Okay, well, this is, we are actually going to do one more little reading here, and my family voted no against this. They were like, well, this is already too long, Jason.
I never said anything.
You didn't say anything?
Nope.
But you guys out there who voted on this on YouTube, it was overwhelmingly supportive that we would do a little bit more. And so I want to add into our Shabbat reading one more book. And I'm sorry if this is a little too long for you guys out there. I think it is imperative that we read as much as we can on Shabbat and we learn who our Messiah is. And so we are going to begin. And I don't think we'll get through these chapters. We'll probably do about 10 verses out of these because these are extra long verses. The Book of the Nazarene, for anybody that does not know, it's called the Book of Khalidi. Its origins are somewhat unknown, but as we read through them and as you see the words of our Messiah, it becomes very, very clear that these are books that should have been in scriptures. And when you read other scriptures, we have other disciples of our Messiah that says if all was written that our Messiah had done, there wouldn't be enough to contain it in any of the books. And so, guys, we are going to get into the Book of Khalidi and discuss this. It was, Sister Barb, it was on the community thing. There was a little thing on the community we had put into that. And so, yeah, I popped it in there. Yep.
And I just didn't want to lose people's attention continuing on.
Yeah, well, it's a dedicated group of folks. And so if this is a book you don't want to read, then I will bid you guys adios and shalom and much love to all of you guys. To all of you guys that are keeping Sukkot, congratulations, amazing. This year it's all falling under very close to the same calendars. Not every year is like this. A lot of times it's a little bit different, but much love to all of you. And for those that do want to stick around, we have another couple brand new songs that have never been heard anywhere in the world that we're going to be closing with. So let's get into this. The Book of Khalidi, the birth of Yahushua the Nazarite, who became our Adonai, an interpreter of Elohim and the Torah, a worthy vessel for the greatest manifestation of the power of the Ruach HaKodesh seen on earth, occurred in this manner. About the time Yochanan the forerunner commenced teaching the way of the wilderness beside Yarden, in the year before Herodas died and Augustus Caesar ruled the Roman world, a babe was born. The father was Joseph, son of Heli, a carpenter of Galilee, and the mother Miriam, his wife, who had been a virgin pledged to Yahuwah, and the Hayekel by her father Shimon, son of Joachim, son of Nathan, son of Eleazar. A decree had gone out that all who claimed kinship within the house of David should be gathered for enrollment at the city of David, called Bethlehem in Galilee. Therefore, Joseph, being rightfully born into the stock of David, took the scroll of his parentage and went to Bethlehem, so his kinship could be established. Now Miriam, being then heavy with child, longed in her heart to be among her kinsmen, and she prevailed upon Joseph to take to Bethlehem. It was only a day's journey from them. The two with a servant came to Bethlehem at eventide, but because so many had gathered, the inns were filled. Then at Miriam's time was close upon her after the journey, a man took pity on her and provided a cave used as a stable. There the travelers found shelter and rest. That night Miriam's labors came upon her, and she suffered the pangs of childbirth and cried out in pain. Nearby shepherds were tending sheep, for in the midst of so many strangers, these needed protection. And hearing her cry, went to help. They provided a shepherd's basket, which was filled with straw, and placed it in the manger. And the newborn babe was wrapped in the clothes brought for him. After 8 days had elapsed, the child was named Yeshua, meaning one who delivers. For a messenger of Yahuwah had appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, that which lies within Miriam, your wife, is filled with the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, and will respond to the hopes of men. Later men called him Yahushua. And because he fulfilled their hopes and was anointed with the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, he became acknowledged as HaMashiach. Now, these are these things that were actually in the scriptures, and I'm not actually, well, I guess I'll read it, but these are things that they just weren't in. They were, some point, somebody added them, not us, but we didn't feel comfortable pulling them out. So let us read them and just understand that these were not in the original text of this book. Now the stable was against a hill, behind an inn where sages from the east were staying, men of Sastera, wise in the books of the Shamaim and of Nimrod, who carried the stake of fire. So Joseph sent for them, requesting they come and foretell the child's future, for such was the custom. And as you can see, that's a little iffy. One of the sages said, It is strange indeed, for this child is born under no usual star, but under one that is a star in appearance only and not in nature, having a power not in other stars. He is destined for greatness and will motivate events touching the lives of all men. Now, as you go through scriptures, there were a lot of people that when they saw our Messiah, and you have John the Immerser, right? You have his mother, you have him in the womb when the babe bounced, right? When Miriam came to the door, she had not had Yahushua yet, and inside of the womb, John the Immerser, John the Baptist, as they called him, he bounced, right? This was something that people have been waiting on forever, was the birth of our Messiah, and it's something that it just changed the world. Everything from the people that were around our Messiah as a baby before he was even born, to all of the events of even Joseph and Mary having to run off into Egypt because you had the king that was trying to kill off all the babies. And so this was a very exciting time, and it's still an exciting time for all of us, because our Messiah, which was promised throughout all the scriptures, throughout all of the early days, throughout the prophets, everybody knew there was going to be a Messiah coming. This was not a new event. Everyone was waiting the Messiah, which is why this is just an incredible time. 10. When word of this was passed around, there was much excitement among those belonging to the house of David, and many, remembering the Nebuah, the prophecy of Yochanan, for they had passed his way, wondered in their hearts, is this not he whom we wait, for the consolation of the Yahudim and the deliverer of men? This displeased the people of Bethlehem, who awaited another deliverer. When the sages spoke of the matter at their journey's end in Jerusalem, and word came of the excitement among those of the house of David in Bethlehem, there was a great consternation among Kohanim and learned men. They tried to discover where the babe was, but the sages answered deviously and said, his star points toward the east. An elder of the house of David, attending the Baraka, the blessing of the child, on the 8th day, lifted up his voice and declared, surely this is he who has been promised to redeem us out of the hands of evil. This is he upon whom the power of the Ruach HaKodesh will descend, bestowing strength, compassion, and wisdom. Surely he will rule in the reign of Elohim. And again, this is stuff that, who told these people this stuff? How did they know? This is like a special event. This is the Ruach HaKodesh. This is the hand of our Creator that was alerting people, that was putting people on check of what was happening. And there was a lot of people, not in just this story, but the other parts of Scripture, that very clearly talk about this coming and how great this was, and what a time in the world right here where our King is being born. 13. When the sovereign heard about these things, and that a babe had been born, who many claimed was destined to be the deliverer, he was greatly disturbed and summoned the council. With the council were learned scribes and elders who disputed among themselves concerning the babe. Some said that while Yahuwah's anointed would be born in Bethlehem, the deliverer would not. For the birth of Yahuwah's anointed in that place had been foretold by the Nevi'im, the prophets. Others said it might not be more than an enlightener who was expected to be born at that time. However, when many agreed that Yahuwah's anointed and the deliverer might be the same person, the sovereign sent 3 men to discover the child. The dispute before the council had been long, and Joseph had been forewarned. So when the men sent by Herodes came to Bethlehem, Joseph had departed with his family. They went to the place where the kinsman of Miriam lived. The men who came did not search long for Yahushua, for after the council had been dismissed, Herodas slew the son who sat with him on the throne, as he had slain others of his blood. Later, Herodas himself died, but after these happenings, the Romans did not bestow the title of sovereign on any Yahudi, and it was unlawful for any man to claim the title. In this manner, the Nebuah was fulfilled, which said, a virgin shall give birth to a son, naming him Elohim with us. He will be the bearer of knowledge, discriminating between good and evil. But before this is given to the people, the land will lose its sovereigns. All right, I think this is where we are going to leave this as of today, guys. This is a great book, excellent book. When Messiah starts speaking in this book, it is very, very clear, that our Messiah is literally the one we've all been waiting for. And if we make it to the kingdom to come, it's going to be amazing serving under him. We're gonna have the greatest government that we've ever possibly could have had. And so with that, everybody, Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Yahuwah barak you and guard you. He'll make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. He'll lift his face upon you and give you peace.
Okay. All right. So here we are. Let's finish up. So we have two other songs here. We just popped into this, and so let us get rolling here with Mr. Eli.
1 second here.
What's really going on?
Hush of peace. Yahuwah, I rest where you have said it. Shabbat shalom, oh breath of delight. You sanctify our hearts this night. Set apart, forever true. We keep the day that points to you. You bless the seven, called it Kodesh, a sign between your own and flesh. No work, no burden, just delight to walk with you in candlelight. Shabbat shalom, oh breath of delight. You sanctify our hearts this night. Set apart, forever true. We keep the day that points to you. 6 days we labor, one to rest. In covenant we are blessed. Yahuwah, our King, we sing your peace upon our dwelling bring. Let every word and every song be pure before your throne of strong. Our children laugh, our hearts made new. For Shabbat draws us close to you. Shabbat shalom, oh breath of delight. You sanctify our hearts this night. Set apart, forever true. Yahuwah, we rest in you. From evening to evening, your rest remains forever. Baruch atah Yahweh, who sanctifies the Shabbat.
All right, beautiful family, we love you. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May the Torah forever be in your heart, mind, souls, and impressed into the lives of your children. And may we all be around to gather until the next eclipse.